So the 6 stages at a high level are prenatal, infancy, adolescence, young adulthood, adulthood, and then death and dying. So the prenatal stage, there's really 3 parts to that. There's the germinal stage, that's conception, when the sperm meets the egg and forms the zygote. There's embryonic, that's from weeks 3 through 8. The fetal stage is weeks 9 through 40. So that's the prenatal stage. The second stage of development is infancy through childhood. That's where the body's physical development is probably the quickest. A newborn's, they weigh between 5 and 10 pounds. Their weight typically doubles in 6 months, triples in a year, and quadruples by the time they're 2 years old. As the motor skills develop, there are developmental milestones that younger children should achieve. For each milestone, there's an average age as well as a range of ages that you should hit those milestones. Adulthood, from the mid-20s to the early 40s, the physical maturation is complete. Height and weight may increase a little bit, but basically our bodies are what they're going to be for the rest of our lives. The last stage is death and dying. And this stage, people are often reluctant to talk about. They used to be even more reluctant to talk about it. So it used to be that doctors would not even tell people that they were dying. A lot of people died in the hospital because they continue to have hope that they would get healthy and get out. Hospice was started in England by somebody named Cicely Saunders. She created the first modern hospice, and ever since then, there have been a lot better ways to die with more dignity. One of the things that I'd recommend you look at if you're interested in this stage is a TED Talk called The Last Lecture, or better yet, buy the book. So I bought this book for $2. As you can see from the sticker. The name of the book is The Last Lecture. It's by Randy Pausch. He was a professor at Carnegie Mellon, was diagnosed with a very late stage liver cancer, only had a few months to live. He already was a great lecturer, and it's really moving to see him talk about what he's going to do with the last months of his life. Highly recommend it. Here's a picture of him with his kids hanging all over him. A bit of a tearjerker, but also very inspirational.
Adolescence is defined as a time to develop independence from parents while remaining connected to them. Early maturing girls may be teased or overtly admired, which can lead them to feel self-conscious about their developing bodies. These girls are at a higher risk for depression, substance abuse, and eating disorders. I'm going to talk about how late blooming boys and girls may feel self-conscious about their lack of physical development. So usually negative feelings are particularly a problem for these late maturing people because they have a very high risk of depression and conflict with their parents and are more likely to be bullied due to the late bloomingness of them. So, okay. And according to neuroscientist Jay Gedd in Frontline video, Inside the Teenage Brain, it's sort of unfair to expect teens to have adult levels in organizational skills or decision making before their brains are finished being built.
There's a lot more we could talk about, like nature versus nurture, continuous development versus discontinuous development, stage theories, or this word that I can't pronounce. I also would like to talk about the formal operational stage, or how to say this guy's name. But I want to save the little bit of time I left to talk about how this impacts directly my work, my school, and my community. In the few seconds I have left, I want to talk about the Helen Pearson TED Talk. She talked about a study that started during World War II for the kids that were born during World War II. It was repeated several decades later. It included about 70,000 children. It found that the #1 predictor of a happy and healthy life is whether you were born into poverty. As Miss Pearson joked, you should choose your parents very carefully. Obviously, you can't choose your parents, and the reason it's close to home here is I teach in School District 259, and according to USD259.org, 76.5% of the students in our district are, quote, students from homes of poverty, end quote. So I would like to learn in this class how to teach to those kids. Thanks.